I finally went to Japan, and here's what I learned about cameras. Japan is what everybody has been talking about the past 2 years. As a tourist, of course, it's amazing. As a camera enthusiast, oh my god, it's amazing. It's basically a candy store. Japan has so much to offer in terms of views, culture, and your camera will definitely get to eat, and you will too. I'm not claiming to be an expert in Japan, it's more of what I experienced and the interesting stories of Japan and how my camera gear relates to it. It's also going to be up to you how you'll experience Japan, so take what I say with a grain of salt. So this will be the first trip to Japan in 10 years since I last been there. I wanted to be prepared, so we planned this whole itinerary to cover the basics on what we wanted to do. And when I mean we, I mean I let my girlfriend do it. I handled all the manly stuff like handling the accommodations and making sure we got breakfast vouchers in our hotel in Kyoto. So I think I did a lot. But the main thing you should be concerned of with going to Japan is first getting there and leaving with your camera gear or even more. So I flew with Zip Air. It's an amazing airline, by the way, since I did this kind of really good move on buying extra legroom. So that was chef's kiss. I literally flew back and no one was beside me. Felt like a king, like this whole row. Now going back to your gear, with my very advanced math calculations, I knew I was gonna be overweight. And being overweight, I didn't want to risk having to do this sort of suspicious dance with the gate agents saying like, oh, I have my personal bag and my carry-on. No, I wasn't gonna do that. And it's not that expensive anyways in comparison to the penalties and the delays that it's gonna give you. So I got the extra 8 kilograms. So Zip Air gives you 7 kilograms for carry-on and your personal item combined. So I got the extra 8 kg add-on for both going there and going back. One interesting note is that going back, they did measure my carry-on and personal together and it was above 7 kgs. And she asked like, oh, is above the limit? And I was like, oh, I paid. And she just let me go through. And I actually did pay the extra carry-on. It's just surprising that, oh, they didn't just verify it. They just took my word for it. So maybe I look trustworthy. Now, I didn't pack any check-ins going there since I knew I was going to buy luggage, also buy extra stuff from, the usual Uniqlo, Don Quixote, and all these things you always usually buy when you're in Japan. I didn't want to suffer bringing a luggage going there, so I just bit the bullet and just bought over there. It's not that expensive. Now, why should you care about all this stuff about the check-ins, the carry-on? It's because Japan is all about carrying your stuff light. You will suffer if you don't while lugging around your stuff through public transport and hitting people with your 30, 40, 50 liter backpack. Packing light for camera people is like the antithesis of being a camera person because you want to lug around all your gear. You have heavy camera gear that you want to bring and shoot Japan with. And on top of that, you don't want your stuff checked in. So definitely consider packing light. Now, despite knowing this, I still kind of overpacked for my camera gear and I just made a note of it for the next trip. And it's namely because of my tripod, which, going to the first point, you don't need a tripod to get good footage in Japan. Now picture this, we were walking up the roads of Arashiyama Forest, or Arashiyama, the area, and enjoying the sceneries of Kyoto. And you come up to one of the most stunning shrines, temples, and there it is, a no tripod sign. They're plastered everywhere, whether it's about cultural respect of space, or annoyance of tourists just leaving their tripod there. I get it, it's their rules. So one interesting I noticed was the amount of no live streaming stickers displayed on stores. I think there's really this sentiment where they're getting kind of annoyed with people So to be honest, I only use my f38 travel tripod for 3 to 4 shots the whole trip. I'll probably find them and display them in the B-roll right now. So the thing I relied on the most was my girlfriend's shoulder, random objects on the road, my camera backpack as a saddle, so we'll talk about that in a bit, active stabilization, and OSS for my 24 to 105, which we'll also talk about the lens that I brought to Japan. And one suggestion, if you have a strap that you can bring, that would be nice too. I actually bought a wrist strap for my camera because there was a bit of an incident with my A7C II, but it wasn't a neck strap, so that would be nice for you to bring. Now the lesson here is that when you're traveling, you have to be flexible enough to change your plans when the situation changes. The people who can't adjust are the ones who fall behind, and that's from 50 Cent. Going into the next point, compact gear creates freedom when you're traveling in Japan. Smaller setups fit Japan's energy perfectly. Our first hotel was damn near a shoebox, but the rest of the trips were quite nice. The hotel size were amazing. We kind of knew that going in, it might be a small hotel, but this just makes the case to pack light. So I packed the A7C II that's filming right now, 24-105 and 11mm f1.8. 2 lenses, 1 body, and just a couple accessories. And this is one of the first few trips where I prioritized shooting with my iPhone. Not this one. This one's the new one. There's a video on that soon. So for the iPhone that I'm using to monitor right now, I used this when we were going to theme parks, namely Universal Studios and Disney. Long hikes or 30,000 step days. It just meant that having a light setup meant that I filmed more and I was enjoying our trip even more. Now for the bag setups, this shouldn't be that much of a surprise. I bring my Wandrd Provoke 21 liter. It was very convenient to have it. It was still heavy though. I brought it to Arashiyama and it was heavy. But the game changer is one of the videos that's kind of popping right now for this channel, which is the Uniqlo shoulder bag plus a camera insert. So the setup is in that video, but I brought that as well. And I mean, it's such an amazing setup that I couldn't not bring it. I always insert it in my Wandrd Provoke, and then once we get to the hotel, bring that out, put the insert in, and then we go about our day. So that was really amazing, having that bag, and I'm just able to be flexible with whatever we're doing. The lesson here is basically freedom comes from moving light or carrying everything, whether you really need that shot or whether you don't. Just make sure that whatever the situation is, you have the gear for it. Number 3, and probably what you're most interested in, is that the camera market isn't what you'd expect from social media. Namely, if you've seen those videos where they're talking about digicams or how the used camera market is really good in Tokyo, to me it was kind of underwhelming. It's not as good as you would find probably just your local Facebook marketplace. The digicam, especially the ones that are trending on TikTok and the one that we visited in Shinjuku, it's not as priced accordingly. It's a bit expensive for what I think it might be actually worth. So just be careful with anything you see on TikTok. Make sure that the prices are fair. Make sure you use your currency converter math on your iPhone or your phone. And just be wary of the hype or the inflated prices that you'd find. Usually, you're not going to find it in these stores. It's usually from people who are actually selling it online used. And just learn that trends don't equal good value. So a sneak peek that I want to give you guys, that I'm actually making an alternative to digicam video. It's gonna come out fairly soon, so be prepared for that. Another thing about buying gear, that buying gear in Japan is a mixed bag. So for me, one thing I wanted to note was that camera bodies are not as worth it buying in Japan. Namely, if you are capable of reading Japanese, then maybe it is worth it, but there is a language lock on some of them. So the savings that you do get, it is in exchange for the language lock. There are global versions out there, but they're priced more. So even with the tax, and I think just the risk of having to bring it with you around your trip unless you're gonna use it, I think buying camera bodies in Japan is not as worth it as compared to the other stuff that I'll mention in this video. So lenses, I think there are a lot of decent deals for lenses, especially if you can get bonus deals that have coupons with them. So from what I've seen is that Big Camera or Yodobashi cameras had these kind of coupon deals that I think were very worth the time and your money, especially if you get tax-free. So that's one more thing I need to mention, that tax-free is fairly easy right now, but apparently next year it's going to be a bit more difficult to get the tax-free immediately. So you need to do the whole airport thing. So I've done that before with Korea, and it's a bit of a hassle compared to what I experienced in Japan. So the tax-free incentive is basically tourists or people who are visiting Japan get 10% off. So basically tax off, and that's a big number if you are buying lenses in the thousands of dollars range. So right now Japan might be worth it for lenses, but maybe around 2026 October, November, you guys gotta check me on this. It might not be. So if you are in Japan right now, maybe consider that. The next thing is that accessories. Accessories are cheap and fun to buy. I got this blower thing for like $2 or even $1, and I think accessories in Japan are well worth it compared to buying on Amazon here. Also bought this SD card case for around the same, like $2. So compared to the ones selling on Amazon. I think small accessories, they're dominating for sure. Going into what they're not dominating is that imported gear. I found that imported gear, I mean, makes sense. Imported gear going into Japan is gonna be more expensive than made in Japan gear. So for example, PG Tech straps, they're practically the same price over there or even more expensive. I bought this out of necessity because I was scared for my A7C II. There was a bit of an incident where I kind of dropped it. It never happened to me before, so I immediately bought one of these. And now I'm in the PG Tech system. One other thing that I noticed in Japan is that film photography, although beautiful, is very expensive. Like a film roll there, it's around like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. And from what I've heard, film development also costs quite a penny. That's one of the reasons why I didn't buy a film camera over there, is because I wanted to shoot film. It's just that I didn't want to have to interrupt our schedule in order to get film developed and make sure that, I have to wait for it. And also film cameras, they're a bit expensive as well, from what I've found. Now, one of the more fun things that we did in Japan was visit the Fujifilm museum. So the Fujifilm museum is beside the office, I believe. And it had retro cameras and all of these older cameras and the history of Fujifilm. So that was really interesting when we visited Japan. Now, if you guys enjoyed that video or you got something out of it, I have more videos on lots of stuff around here. And if you click on one of those, I'll see you guys there when I see you.